Today in class, you were working on equation 7.5b, and that is where you match the correct equation to the correct answer choice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and I'm going to flash the answer first, and then I'll explain the problem. If you get it right, then you can fast forward to number 2 and see what answer you got. You only need to do numbers 1 through 15. Don't worry about the last page, 16 through 20. Only do 1 through 15. So number 1, you should have gotten D. So if you do have D, then you can move on to number 2 and skip through the explanation. On every problem, you need to make sure you solve for the variable. Solve for the variable by doing the opposite. So the opposite of multiply by 15 is divide 120 by 15. And I'm not going to work it all out. You can divide that on your own, but it would be 8. So x is equal to 8. So when you read through your answers, you're looking for an equation that would be multiplying by 15, but also giving you an answer of 8. And if you look at D, Adam charges $15 per hour for labor to repair lawnmowers. What is X? The number of hours that Adam worked. So he could do 15 times 8 hours, and that would give him a total of $120. So it matches the equation. Okay, number 2. Number 2, you should have gotten A. So if I look at this one, the opposite of subtracting $4.72 or 4.72 is to add. So if you come over here and you add the two together, you would get a total of 10 to equal X. So 10 equals X. So if we read Sergio's lunch cost $4.72, he received $5.28 in change when he paid the bill. What is X? The amount he gave his cashier. So if you give the cashier a $10 bill and you take away how much your lunch cost, this is his change that he would have received back. So that matches that. All right, number 3 is C. 3 is C. And this is one that you actually had 2 variables on it. You had an R and a K. It says Karen is K years old. Raul's age is R, and that is 6 more than 2 times of Karen. So Raul is older. Raul is older. It says his age is 6 more than. So you know you're adding when it says more than. 6 more than 2 times Karen. So 2 times Karen. So to get Raul, you have to do 6 more than 2 times Karen. And that's exactly what C says. They just have it backwards. 2 times Karen plus 6. Number 3. Oh, that was number 3. Number 4. Number 4 is B. B. If I check that, Vicky sold 15 fewer tickets to the play than Caitlin. So Caitlin was the higher amount. Caitlin was higher because it says Vicky sold 15 fewer than Caitlin. So if you know Vicky sold 62 and it wants to know how much did Caitlin sell, well, Caitlin is the higher one. So you could take away 15 from it, and that would equal Vicky's amount of tickets, 62, because Caitlin is higher. So, and that's exactly what B says. Number 5 is a little tricky. A lot of people think that the answer is A, but the actual answer is C. C. So if you have this one incorrect, then you need to pay close attention. If I were to divide, since it's multiplying 12 times X, if I were to divide by 12, then that means 12 into 40 would give me 3 repeating over and over and over. 3.3 repeating forever and ever and ever. So that's a weird answer to get. Let's see what we could possibly have a decimal like that for as an answer. Emily earned $12 designing a poster. So that's the total amount she got. If she charges $40 per hour, what is X, the total number of hours she spent? Okay, did she spend 3 hours at $40 per hour? If she did that, 40 hours times 3.3, you would get somewhere around $120. But she only made $12. So she did not even work a full hour on the poster to get that $40 even. So A would be eliminated. The actual correct choice was C. Tina worked for a cashier for 40 months. What is X, the number of years she worked? If you want to convert from months to years, you would have to divide 40 months by 12 months, because 40 divided by 12 months makes a year. So if you wanted to convert to years, you would have to divide those two, and that would be about 3.3 years she's worked as a cashier. Okay, turn the page. Let me get it all turned over. Number 6, which problem matches this equation? The correct answer on this one was B. And if we look at this, the opposite of add 6.2 would be to subtract 6.2 from 9.8, to subtract the 2. And you would have gotten 3.6. So you're looking for an answer that would be 3.6, and it was B. Jason has a board that was 9.8 meters long. That's the total. If he cuts off 6.2 meters, how much is left? There would be 3.6 left on that. Okay, number 7, right next to it. This answer would be D. The opposite of subtract 2.4 would be to add 2.4 to solve for the X. So if you add those together, you actually get 10. So let's check D on this. On Saturday, Donnie played video games for 7.6 hours and Danita played for 2.4 hours. How many total hours? That means you would add together and it would equal 10. So that does match it. Number 8 would be D. So if you got D, then that would be correct. If I were to do the opposite of this, which you should be able to look at this and say what 19 plus what makes 20, and that would be 1. The opposite of add 19 would be to subtract 19, and you would get 1. So D, Al bought a belt for $19. How much change will he get back from $20? That would be $1 back in change. Number 9 is A. Number 9 is A. And this one is tricky because if you got C, that's a very close answer as well. On this, the opposite of multiply by 2.5 is to divide by 2.5. So if you were to divide that out, then we're looking for an answer that would be taking 60 of something and dividing it by 2.5 size pieces. So if we look at A, Theo has 60 pounds of cookies, with which he's going to make 2.5-pound boxes. So he's going to take all of these pounds of cookies and split them into boxes that are that size. How many boxes can he put together? That means how many can he make? So we are dividing his pounds of cookies here. On C, it says a racing car travels 2.5 miles in 60 seconds. At what speed? When we're talking about speed, that's miles per hour, not seconds. So we would be dividing technically, but this is in seconds and speed is in miles per hour. So that's tricky. That would not be correct. On number 10, the answer is C. C, the opposite of subtract 24 would be add 24, and that would be 174. So let's read C. Lou wrote a check for $24 and had $150 left in his account. How much did he have before writing the check? So he could have had $174. Then he took away 24 because he wrote a check to somebody. That would leave 150 left over. Flip it over. This is the last page, numbers 11 through 15. I say you didn't have to do the very last final page. So number 11 would be B. On this one, the opposite of add 15,500 would be to take away 15,500. And that answer would be 13,540 when you subtracted them. So let's read. In the country where Christina lives, there are 15,500 females. The total population is 29,040 people. How many males? Well, if you know these are all the females, then if you take those away from that, that leaves 13,000 males in the country. So you know you would have been adding your females plus your males to make the total population. Number 12 is A. 12 is A. The opposite of divide m by 3 would be to multiply both sides by 3. And that would be 450, because 450 divided by 3 makes 150. So if we read A, Jamal's grandfather gives each of his 3 grandchildren $150. So 3 different people get $150 each. How much money does the grandfather give away? So if he has a total of $450 and he splits it 3 ways, they would each get $150. Okay, so let's go on to the next one. Number 13 is A. 13 is A. The opposite of subtract 2 would be add 2. And this one is very tricky because there is another answer choice that does give you 82 as well. So you have to pick which one matches how this equation is set up. A says after the noon temperature dropped 2 degrees, the temperature was 80. What was the noon temperature? So if we put 82 right here and we said it dropped 2, then it went to 80, then it matches A. But if you look at C, C says a pet store manager had 80 goldfish in stock. She bought 2 more. How much does she have now? If we look at this, she does have 82 fish now, but that's not what this equation was describing. It would have been 80 plus 2 equals W for how much does she have now. So it's just the rewording. A was the better choice, but C technically does have 82 as the answer as well. So that one's kind of tricky. Number 14 is D. The opposite of add 9,000 is to take away 9,070. If you take away, you get 2,960. 2,960. And the answer was D. Let's read it. Lyle has $9,000 in the bank. How much money should he deposit to have a balance of $12,000? Okay, so if he starts with $9,000 and he adds a certain deposit in, then that would make a balance of $12,000. So he would have to deposit $2,000 into the bank. So that makes sense on D. Last one, number 15, is B. And it says the opposite of add 7 would be take away 7, and that would be 8. So you're looking for something that would be 8. So a number increased by 7. So some number increased by 7 equals 13, and that number would be 8. So that is true, because if I put 8 there, 8 increased by 7 equals 13. You did not have to do the back side. If you do want the answers on here, I will just flash them real quick. I'm not going to explain them. But the only ones that were more y'all's level would be 18 and 19. And 18 was C as the answer choice, and 19 was C as well. But you didn't have to do any of these on the back side at all. You only had to stop at 15. So bring those with you tomorrow to class. Thank you.